You know guys, today's gonna be one of those days where you wake up feeling great in the morning and then you feel like you have nothing to do, so it's just gonna be relaxing, and then you realize you forgot a whole bunch of chores throughout the week. So today's gonna be a chores day, guys. Right now it's minus 21 degrees Celsius. I'll put the equivalent Fahrenheit on the screen somewhere. Here are a list of things that we gotta do. So we gotta first shovel the driveway, then we gotta install a heater because my garage is not heated and the installation is a bit lackluster, especially for these kind of temperatures. For those of you who live in a warmer climate, you guys might not know what this contraption is. This is called a snowblower. It's similar to a lawnmower, but it's for snow. And we use it to get snow off of our driveways and sidewalks so that way we can walk on the actual gravel or concrete. Unfortunately for me, my snowblower just refused to start. I tried several different things to get it started and it just wouldn't go. So I had to resort to doing it the old-fashioned way and using a shovel. Alright, shoveling driveway, done. There's one thing we can check off our list. So we're in the garage right now and we have one small problem we need to address before we start working on the car. And that's that the garage is a little bit too cold. As you guys can see from the steam coming out of my mouth, this bad boy here isn't sufficient enough to heat up the garage, at least not in a short period of time. So we're going to get it a little friend to compensate for the lack of heat, and that's this 1500 watt quartz heater that we're going to mount near the entrance. So that way in the morning I can wake up, turn on the heater, go have breakfast, and just do whatever, while the garage is getting warm, so that way you don't have a cold garage to work in. Now my stud finder had a little bit of a hard time trying to find the studs on my plywood wall. I don't know why I have a plywood wall, but the previous owners thought it was a good idea to install it, so that's what they did. Anyways, I had to change to my other wall, which is on the side of my garage, which is drywall. And on that wall, my stud finder had no problems finding the stud, so that we were able to easily install the heater. Now to install the quartz heater, the first thing you gotta do is find your studs, and that's what I did. Then you have to install the mounting plate. To make it easier for me to install the center bolt, I pre-drilled a hole into the stud, so that way it'll be a little bit easier for me to drive the bolt in. Now don't forget the middle bolt because that's what holds everything up, and the two side bolts are just there to keep it aligned. Now you can speed this process up by using an impact gun. Unfortunately, I don't have an impact gun, so I was using a socket wrench instead. Now a socket wrench wasn't the best tool for this job, and I ended up just going at a little bit of an angle, which wasn't a big deal. Unfortunately for me, I didn't look at how I was aligning it, and I ended up drilling one of the side bolts a little bit too low. So I had to undo the screw, align again, and then reinstall the screw. I didn't use a level because I didn't care about being perfect. If it looked good enough, it was fine with me. When I installed the heater onto the mounting plate, I noticed that it sagged a lot and the screws didn't seem to hold very well. So I had to reinforce this somehow. Now here's the thing though, the heater's bolts weren't far enough for my studs. They were a little bit shy. So I had to install a piece of wood, a 2x2 in this case, into my wall first and then drill my mounting plate onto that 2x2. Now this quartz heater has the crappiest mounting plate in the world. It's so flimsy that it feels like the heater is going to fall off. And I was actually scared about that when I installed it. I thought maybe I installed something wrong or I didn't mount the screws very well. But nope, that's it. It's the crappiest mounting plate in the world, but it holds. After reinstalling the mounting plate onto the 2x2, installing all the side screws, I had to mount the heater onto the mounting plate, and as soon as the heater was on the mounting plate started to sag. Now this isn't a problem with the 2x2 or the way we mounted it, that's just the crappy mounting plate that we have to work with. After installing the mounting plate, the last thing we have to do is turn it on. You have to pull once to turn on the light, twice to turn on the first heating lamp, and thrice to turn on the second heating lamp. Unfortunately for me though, I only have one outlet in my garage and I think I overpowered it. Because as you guys can see, my video light turned off and the heater slowly started turning off. As you guys can see, installing a garage heater isn't that hard, it just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience. Now before I let you guys go, there are a couple things that I want you guys to know. A couple of notes per se. So this heater is a 240 volt heater. In the garage we installed a 120 volt heater. You can run more of these on the same circuit than you can those. Those heaters were supplementary, so that means if I needed a little bit more warmth in the garage, I would use those, but this would be my main heater. Now, when would you use a heater like that versus a heater like this? Well, you would use a heater like that if you do not have an outlet that supports this. This outlet is a very big plug, kind of like an oven's outlet. So if you guys don't have an outlet in your garage that can support this, you would use the other heater. Also, make sure your guys' garage is insulated before you start heating it. Otherwise, you guys will end up paying a lot of money. Even though a 240 volt heater will use half as many amps as a 120 volt heater, the price difference isn't that much, maybe a couple of dollars here and there, because what you end up paying for is the wattage, not necessarily the amperage. Yes, you will save a little bit of money here and there, but it won't be that significant. But do insulate your garage because that's where you guys will save the most amount of money. So what are my recommendations for you? Well, if you have a garage that does support this kind of outlet, then install one of these heaters. They're very tiny, very affordable, and they'll just be a good main heater. And you would use that kind of heater as a supplementary heater and just make sure you have enough bandwidth in your circuit, otherwise you'll end up flipping switches all day long. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys found it educational and informative. And before I let you go, I just want to remind you guys that I do have a gaming channel called Kyle Unleashed. Links in the description below, so I'd really appreciate if you guys could leave a follow. We have an awesome Discord community as well, where you guys can meet a bunch of amazing individuals, whether you guys want to play games or just ask advice on random topics. So I hope to see you guys there. Anyway guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.